Lovely. Thank you very much. Lovely to be here. Hello. Hello, I'm Richard Herring. When I was asked to present a show called Heads Up with Richard Herring on one of the higher numbered satellite channels, I naturally jumped at the chance. Alas, it was only after I signed the contract that I discovered the programme was actually about poker. But that's okay, because luckily I quite like poker. Not as much as I like the thing I thought this show was about, but you can't have everything. And I am supremely qualified to host such a programme because I came 7th in Celebrity Poker Club earlier this year. 7th, that's right, yeah, look impressed, it is impressive. Because I beat such luminaries as Romeo from So Solid Crew, he was rubbish, and also some bloke who briefly used to present The Big Breakfast. No, not Chris Evans or Johnny Vaughan. No, not even Rick Adams. Who remembers him? Only me. Someone less famous than that. On top of that, I regularly give poker players around the world up to £100 of my money every week online. So it seems only fair that you should have to give something back to me. Who's the loser now, eh? You with all my money, or me with my own TV show? Yeah. Plus, I get to keep that chair at the end, I do, yeah. Not the desk, they wouldn't let me have that, but the chair I can have. So yeah, not so big now, are you? In any case, I actually like being humiliated, so bad luck, the joke's on you. Do you know how much it costs to get that done professionally? I am saving hundreds of pounds a week. You're the loser here, mate, you are! I've got a chair! What I like about poker, apart from losing money, is the kind of people who get drawn to it like a moth to a rolled-up newspaper. The disgraced, the desperate, those bored with having money, those bored of being poor, the wily and the willfully stupid, the mentally ill and the not yet mentally ill, the long and the short, the young and the restless, the bold and the beautiful, the lion, the witch, and the wardrobe. I'm sorry, I lost my thread somewhere there. I love playing that wardrobe, though he's rubbish at poker. I beat him 3 times out of every 4. And in this show, I'm going to meet and talk to all kinds of different players of renown, both professional and amateur. Many of them are dirty little rascals. A few of them are the scum of the earth. Some of them I usually wouldn't cross the street to spit on. But luckily, none of those are my guests tonight. Tonight's guests are all charming, but you can see you can work out which ones I mean in future shows by my kind of disdainful-looking face I'll be pulling during the interviews. It's the bloke from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. If that doesn't make it worthwhile tuning into the rest of the series, then nothing will. Anyway, that's enough of my yakking. Let's get on with it. Right, we love to get your emails with funny poker-related stories. This one comes from Lionel Cosgrave from London. He says, when you play poker online, don't make the mistake I did and have instant messenger sex with your girlfriend at the same time, because the poker window will pop up at the worst times. It was pretty difficult to explain to the whole table that when I said I was going to lick them, this was purely a competitive desire. That's obviously a lie, Lionel. We all know that anyone who plays poker online does not have a girlfriend. At least not one that they're having sex with anymore. So if you want to send me an email, do so to audience@pokerzone.tv and I'll take the mickey out of you like I have to Lionel, who does exist. My first guest has been working on commercial radio since he was 19 years old. He is now nearly 20 years old. Not really, he's over 30. I am funny. He is currently presenting the Weekend Breakfast Show on Capital FM, playing music to hundreds of thousands of people with hangovers who wish he'd just shut up with his cheery voice. He was introduced to the game of poker by none other than Scott from the boy band Five Ive, as I insist on calling it, because that is how it is spelt, Five Ive. That's how they've written it down. It's your own fault. You're never going to amount to anything, you guys, in Five Ive, I can tell you, until you sort that out. Please welcome my first guest, Chris Brooks. Hey, Chris. How you doing?
10 p.m. till 3 a.m. every night. Don't miss it. It's the place to learn. It's the place to have fun.
I think Dr. Tom's on tomorrow. That would be good.
Yes, Dr. Tom, don't miss him, and make sure you give him lots of difficult questions to answer.
And Mark Bannon.
That's Mark Bannon.
Yeah.
Oh, good
nice
team.
Duo.
Well, we're going to have to go now, James. It's been a pleasure.
Hope to be together again soon.
We will be, no doubt. But from us, we hope you've enjoyed yourselves. It's good night.
Good night.
And goodbye.
practices
So,
drove him to the brink of extinction.
Global Trader could be his only hope. With spread trading and CFDs for professionals, that means access to the most dynamic markets, real transparency and exceptional service. Let's see if we can get his attention.
Mine.
Trading this advanced may not be for everyone. Global Trader. Welcome to the new world.
Stop the press, but don't stop pressing that red button, because now you can watch all the action and play spin to win or roulette as you view. Simply use your remote control to access the games and get all the on-screen action at the same time. We've raised our game to bring you double the entertainment. So press red to get twice as much action with roulette or spin to win today and play as you view.
Thank you. I do deserve that. Hello and welcome to yet another Heads Up with Richard Herring, recently voted the best poker-based interview show on any poker-based satellite channel. By my mum. Though my dad and gran went for Jonathan Ross's chat show, so that won the actual award. Even though he rarely, if ever, talks about poker and isn't on satellite TV, the panel still felt that Ross deserved the accolade and that I should get a proper job and also get married and have some children, given that you are nearly 40 now. What do judging panels know? If you want to see some good to brilliant celebrities being interviewed about poker by a short, fat, middle-class bloke from Cheddar in Somerset, then you've come to the right channel. That's the good thing about satellite TV. You can have whatever you want. In fact, viewer Simone Harris says, what I want to see is some good to brilliant celebrities being interviewed about poker by a short, middle-class bloke from Cheddar in Somerset who beforehand does a little dance. Well, I don't want to alienate my viewer, so here goes. She then goes on to ask if I'd be prepared to take off my trousers at... Oh, God, Simone, what are you on? That's disgusting. If you want to see that, then tune into channel 1895, which is dedicated to celebrities being interviewed by a small bloke from Somerset who does a dance and all that stuff you mentioned that I can't say here. We have some class on this channel, and to be honest, they aren't paying me enough to do that. Send in 50 pence and I'll do it all next week. I am nothing if not a whore. Of course, there can be so many channels with poker on them these days because poker is big business and everyone is constantly on the lookout for new ways to market the game and other ideas that they can somehow shoehorn a poker element into. Poker Yahtzee, Poker Keno, Poker Scrabble are all ideas that I have genuinely heard mentioned in the last week. So if you want to create a new poker-based travesty, then you'll have to be fast. Here are 3 ideas that I've already patented, so bad luck, you can't have them. Poker Hybrid 1. Poker Hungry Hippos, the 2 greatest games in the world combined. The balls the Hungry Hippos have to eat have card values printed on them. The player that can make the best poker hand out of the balls they scoff up will win. This must be played for money, even if you're playing your 3-year-old nephew. Get all his pocket money off him. That's what I do. 10p a week you can make like that. Neat. Poker Hybrid 2, Poker Croquet. Haven't really thought what this might involve. I just like the sound of the name, it nearly rhymes. Poker Hybrid 3, Poker Funerals. Want to mourn a loved one and still have the chance of winning millions of pounds? The game starts as the vicar invites the congregation to pick a gravestone, any gravestone, and then I'm being told in my ear by my producer Ray that I have gone too far now. Apparently I've pushed back the boundaries of comedy to reveal that there was a good reason why those boundaries were put there in the first place. Because the stuff on the other side is not amusing. Just as I was about to do my aces in the hole gag as well, it was really good. It's all right, Ray. I'll distract our viewers with another dance as I move to my desk of authority. Time for another poker factoid. Poker has often been depicted on the silver screen, most of the time, to be honest, pretty badly. For every heart-stopping scene, there's one where Ian Beale bets a chip shop. The Cincinnati Kid is a great poker film, until the last scene where the kid and the man have a final dramatic hand and everything gets far too Hollywood. Paul Newman's kid holds a full house and is beaten by a hugely improbable straight flush. The chances of these two hands happening at the same time at 5-card stud are over 45 million to 1. When is a poker film going to show it like it is and have the game decided when a pair of twos beats a jack high? That's much more realistic cinema verite. My first guest tonight is probably unique in the professional poker world in that he is a practicing Buddhist who was so ashamed that he came only 14th in the World Championship in 1997 that he went to England, where he spent several years living in a Buddhist semi-monastic situation. He returned from the experience spiritually enriched, and this year at the World Series placed 5th, winning $1.75 million, and was by all accounts unlucky not to do better. But he hasn't run away to a retreat after this disappointment, no. He's elected to do something even more spiritually fulfilling, be interviewed by me. Please welcome Andy Black.
Head on that flop.
Yeah.
So you have to bear in mind a number of factors, the player you're playing against, what the flop's like, but it is hard to get away from an overpair.
Big pairs against trips are going to lose money. It's one of it's hard lines. It's not going to happen too often. When it does happen, I want to say to you and stress, do not lose all your chips on it. That's all.
The show's over, James. Stop talking immediately. We've had a great night tonight, haven't we?
It's been brilliant, yeah.
It has been brilliant. Thank you again, guys, so much for all the texts and emails. Amazing response. Poker Night Live. We'll be back tomorrow night with some other people. Give them the same love.
Cheers.
See you back.
Some really good ones if you go too far with your channel button. Look out for that. They're good fun. Though his wages, the devil's wages, as I've discovered, are death. Despite this, my manager still thought it would be a good career move for me to do this show. I used to be on proper telly. But you don't want to hear about my problems. You want to find out what amazing celebrity guests we have procured for you this week and what poker-based tips they're able to impart. So enough whimsy and blasphemy. As my girlfriend said to me last night as we got into bed, let's see the flop. We play poker in bed. That's all that was about. I don't know what you were thinking. In 1996, my first guest tonight reached the final of the Most Handsome Man in Italy competition, which is impressive given the high standard of handsomosity in that country. And only in Italy could they have such a competition. He used to be a professional windsurfer. What does that involve, I wonder? Going down to the sea every day? Any windsurfing you need today, madam? No wonder he didn't make any money at it. He did his national service in the feared Italian army in the parachute regiment. He's very hard, but that gives him an additional way to escape from any actual conflict. Oh, I'm going to jump off this cliff. Fine. Less interestingly, he was the fourth person to be evicted from Big Brother 2005. Maybe if he'd inserted a bottle into one of his bodily orifices, he would have lasted longer. Please welcome Roberto Conti. Will you please welcome Ed Giddins? Lovely to see you all. Fantastic. Thanks for coming. Hello, welcome to Heads Up with Richard Herring. Another hour of chat and sarcasm with your favourite poker-playing celebrities. And also some poker-playing celebrities that you don't really like, or possibly haven't heard of. I'm afraid we can't tailor this to your exact requirements. We have other viewers. Yes, we do. We do. Well, we don't, but we would like some. This isn't all about you. No, don't turn over. We need you, please. Sorry. It has been said that if you can't spot the sucker at the table after 20 minutes, then that sucker is you. Personally, if I'm still actually at the table with a couple of chips after 20 minutes, then that's the equivalent of winning the World Series. I think the saying should go, if you can't spot the sucker, he's the bloke who went all in on the first hand with 2-7 unsuited, is now getting drunk in the bar, making a heavy-handed and unsuccessful attempt to chat up the waitress, and who has this face. So how can average to poor players like me and you get some kind of advantage in this beautiful game? The simple answer is to cheat. The problem with this is that most forms of cheating require just as much skill as being a good poker player. You need eyesight like a hawk to make out your marked cards, and let me tell you, it's a giveaway if you ask your opponent if you can have a closer look at the back of his cards. Almost as much as if you ask him if you can have a closer look at the front of his cards. If he lets you do that, then he's definitely the sucker. You need magician-like reflexes to successfully deal from the bottom of the pack. Personally, I usually make a balls up of dealing from the top of the pack with these stumpy fingers. If you're going to try and set up some kind of sophisticated collusion-based sting, then you need some friends. Something which I don't have. Don't patronise me. So today I'm going to come up with my 3 top tips for easy and foolproof cheating. Tip 1. After you've dealt the cards, but before anyone's had a chance to look at them, create a distraction. For example, look, the Queen Mother has risen from the grave and is destroying buildings with her zombie laser vision. When everyone looks to see this spectacle, you flick a switch which spins your tabletop around to reveal a seemingly identical table, but on which beforehand you've given everyone really good cards, but yourself the nuts. But when people turn back and say, "Where's the zombie Queen Mother?" That sounded good. You say, "Oh, sorry, it was just an ant." And then you go on to play the hand. Simple, you'll win. You might also need to invent a kind of anti-gravity machine to keep the cards on the table when they're upside down as well. I can't do everything for you. I've come up with the idea. Tip 2, Learn to communicate with the dead, like those weird men on cable TV. And then rather than asking them to tell you vague things that the person they're talking to already knows, get them to stand behind your opponents and tell you what cards they've got. Promise them half the profits when you win. But then, don't give them anything. What can the dead idiots do? They're dead. What are they going to do? Haunt you for the rest of your life? Oh, yeah, they could give them the money. Tip 3. Have a baby or steal one from a hospital or pram. Then when it is old enough to teach it poker, teach it, tell it the wrong rules. Like, say, that the best hand is when all your cards are different, okay? Play like that for all its life. Then when it's grown up and has earned loads of money in a job, then play the grown-up baby again in a proper tournament. You should easily be able to win all the idiot baby's money and just deny that you ever lied to it and disown it. It's important you win more money than it will cost to bring the child up for 20 years, or you'll end up looking stupid with that one, but it's still a good idea. Those were my easy ways to cheat at poker. Now let's get on with the rest of the show. I have a poker factoid burning in my craw, but must get to the safety of my desk to deliver it. Poker factoid time. We've actually, it's an email we've had from a viewer who asked to remain anonymous. He writes, Dear Richard, I hope you can help me with a rather sensitive legal question. I'm a publican, and every Tuesday and Thursday nights we have a lock-in in the pub, and all the locals come along and play poker in the back room. As I have to provide the facilities, drinks, etc., I started taking a rake of 5% of each pot. Am I breaking the law? Thanks for your help, DP55. Well, it's an interesting email. I'm afraid to say you are breaking the law, and you could go to jail if you'll find out, so keep it quiet. I would, however, recommend that you increase your rate to 10%. That's 5 for you and 5 for me. I know who you are, DP55. I know where you live. I could send you down for a long, long time. In cash, please, in an envelope. Thank you. My first guest joined the Royal Navy when he was 16 and was decorated during the First Gulf War. He then shifted to a more dangerous occupation, presenting ITV's Family Fortunes. No one gave him a medal for that. There's no justice in this world. Will you please welcome Andy Collins? That's mate. Oh, you could have dressed up.
I would like to apologise to
you should apologise.
and to your wonderful studio audience and to your viewers for me and the stage.
We're on telly.
I know I've just come from the allotment.
There's a hole in your trousers. Never mind. You joined the Navy when you were 16 years old. Why did you do something stupid? You could have got killed. Well, what did you do that for?
Because my father was in show business.
Right.
He was in a rock and roll band called Taste of Honey. Oh. And my father's father was in the Ted Heath Jazz Band. So it was always presumed that I would be in show business. And I went, no. I rebelled. So I joined the Navy, and as I joined, the Gulf War started, and I was the youngest bloke out there. And youngest at the time, and I've got to say I loved it. I mean, at 16, 17, I mean, you know, I was living every action man dream. I was dressing up in khaki, jumping over fins of guns. That's brilliant. My mum, on the other hand, had an absolute nightmare and hated it because obviously, you know, watching the news. Yeah. But I was having a lovely time.
Well, out of the two, it's probably the First Gulf War was the one to choose to go.
Yes, yeah. I got a lovely tan, and I picked up a couple of STDs as well, lovely girls. And but apart from that, it was really, I had a great time. I really loved it, and it was a great way of growing up and learning stuff.
Someone in the Navy sleeping with a woman?
It's unheard of, I tell you.
No wonder you had to leave. Was it tough, or was it really good fun?
What happened was, when we were out in the Gulf, we had to put, there was like 4 ships that went out, because I was mine warfare, so there's mine disposal was my job. And
that sounds quite dangerous.
Oh, red wire, green wire, swirl of the gamble. So there was 4 ships that went out there, so we had to put on like a show to entertain the troops. And they went, Collins, you've had a bit of like entertainment experience, you can put the show on, because obviously with my father's background. So I ended up nicking all my dad's acts, and I used to follow him because he used to support Tommy Cooper. Right. So I was like that, trying to remember all his gags. And I became a bit like Gloria from A&R Mum. And it sort of like rekindled my fire and my belief in show business. And I thought, well, I'll tell you what, I've been to the Gulf, I've got my war medal, I've got my 4 STDs. I've completed everything I need to do, and I came back into show business.
So how did you get into TV? What was
basically lied? I was doing stand-up in holiday camps and stuff like that. And then this production company phoned up and said, look, we're looking for a new TV presenter, a new face. Have you ever done live TV before? I said, oh, Of course I have. Tapped up the CV to look accordingly, sent it to them. They were very impressed with my television experience, and bluffed my way through it. And I remember my first ever gig was live telly, open talkback, which basically means you have a little thing in your ear, and it was open, like what Richard's got there, and you can hear everybody. And I remember my first link was this: hello everybody and welcome to XYZ. Take a look at this. And all we do is we'll clip into a VT. Quite simple. So I was quite nervous. Here we go, stand by, 2 minutes. Oh, here we go, don't be worried, nothing to worry about. And so there's all these kids around me. Oh, don't worry about it, they'll be fine. 30 seconds, music starts, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I went, how do you want? And as I did that, a kid was there, and I smacked him. And my whole TV career went, it's got to get better than this. So basically, that was my start in TV, really.
You did the last couple of series of Family Fortunes.
Basically, Max Bygraves did it for 2 years, Bob did it for 4 years, Les Dennis did it for 16 years. And then, in their infinite wisdom, they decided to move Family Fortunes from prime time on a Saturday night to daytime television. And Les said, I don't really want to do that. I want to concentrate on my acting. So they auditioned several people up for the job, and I heard about it and sort of like wangled their way into the audition. The good thing was, I used to watch the programme with my nan all the time. And so therefore I knew the rules, like, you know, off the back of my head, and I really enjoyed the show. And I got the gig, and it was my, you know, my big shot, and I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. It's a great show.
It's notorious for its sort of stupid answers. Did you get any of those yourself?
Okay, there was actually a website dedicated to not the stupid answers, the answers that some of my punters give when they panic. So what you got to imagine, right, is when I go like that, that's the punter hitting the buzzer to answer the question. Yeah. Okay. Name something made of wool. Sheep. Name something red. My cardigan. Name a bird with a long neck. Naomi Campbell. And these all went out. And this is my favourite one that went out. Obviously, it would never get out now, but this is my favourite one. Apart from the TT race on the Isle of Man, name a dangerous race. The Arabs.
So let's talk about poker. How did you get into playing poker?
My old man, my father, is a poker genius. He's been playing it since I was a little kid. I remember getting up at like 4 o'clock in the morning when I was about 9 and creeping downstairs, and there was all these mates on the table playing poker. It fascinated me. I'm no good at it, it has to be said. Because my father's great, my brother's brilliant, but I'm no good. For this reason, for this main reason, right? So, I'll fill the cards for you. This is it. There's a few chips in, okay? There we are. Okay, I'll give myself there. I'm giving you 3 cards, see? I don't feel... Okay, so that's why I lose. I'm giving him 3 cards! It's all coming about now. Anyway, so, poker face is the most important thing. Yeah. You're looking at your cards, I'm looking at you, and you could have anything. I look at my cards, I've got 2 aces. This is what happens. And up 20. It gives the game away. And that's my thing, my poker face is what lets me down.
Really?
Oh, no good at it. I'm no good at it. But I do love the game, it's great fun.
Well, we've got to take a short break there. Acid on my hands. Okay, my second guest is a World Series of Poker champion who's famous for his scary lizard eye sunglasses. He's nicknamed the Fossil Man because he was a prehistoric Neanderthal who somehow survived in the quarry for thousands of years. Or was that Stig of the Dump? I always get those two confused. I've met him before. He's one of the most friendly and down-to-earth millionaires I have ever encountered. It is my great honour to introduce Greg Raymer. Hey, Greg. How you doing? Good to see you. I'm good. I'm very good. Come on in. You brought me a present? Oh, no. You mustn't leave your bag out there.
My famous poker bag. Semi-famous, so.
What did you do before you start playing?
Only on Poker Zone.
Your credit card reaching its limit? Desperate for some extra cash? Then answer the questions and win £2,000. Another word for money machine is A. ATM, B. Black box, Want to subscribe for a chance to win? Then text your answer cash A for ATM or cash B for Black Box to 60555 and you can be £2,000 richer. So text cash A or cash B to 60555.
50p per message.
I'm out! I'm out! I need ammo! You owe me one!
They were America's most legendary infantry unit, and though every man was different, they fought as one. Big Red 1. Call of Duty 2, Big Red 1.
It's incredible. It's a new craze. It's Cash Keno. Another amazing interactive game available when you press the red button. Select your own numbers to join in, but if time is of the essence, try Turbo Mode or Lucky Draw to get involved. Choose Megaposh if you'd like a more gripping game, and you could win it big with Cash Keno today.
Heads Up with Richard Herring, brought to you in association with SpinPalacePoker.com.
Welcome back to the show. We asked 100 people, who is your favourite warm-up man? You said Andy Collins. Our survey said... I'm here with Andy Collins. Give him a big round of applause. I'm kidding. He's the best. It's a hard job, that is. A hard job.
It is a hard job. It's a very hard job.
Yeah, I'm great admiration for you.
No, we work with some lovely people, and some people that you can really learn from. You watch them, people like Ant and Dec and Paul O'Grady and people like that, and you watch them and you watch how they work the audience and the cameras, and it's a joy to watch. And then you work with some absolute nasty people who are no good.
Go on, who?
I can't really tell you. Shall I tell you? Yeah. Well, I can't because I will get sued. But I'll write it down, right? But whatever you do, you can't say it out loud, and you'll have to buy the book, Chapter 9, which will be out. I can't say, I can't spell the last name, but...
Oh, I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. Richard Herring, that's on.
No, yeah.
Do you play poker against any famous people? Are these big comedians?
Comedians, got some people like Mike Reed from EastEnders. Oh, yeah. I also play with a group called the Chiswick Massive, who are basically that part of the world, who are like floor managers. Like Ant and Dec are taking up the game of poker. Right. Yeah, they've got like you can buy them now, in the shops, those big poker tables. And we play poker, but we have to wear dicky bows, cravats, and smoke cigars and drink brandy.
I'd like to play them at Ant and Dec. I bet you could take some money off Ant and Dec.
Yes, but the highest stake is 50p, so it's not exactly a big game. No, it's not exactly. And that's worth about 25p, but it looks the part, and we do have enough.
Do you have a friend who bet their house?
My father, it wasn't my father, has a friend who is a friend of the family's who basically, they used to play poker quite serious. I mean, it was like, in clubs with the smoke over the light and stuff, and he lost his house in that game of cards. He was so convinced that he was going to win. They were playing 7 cards, and he threw in his keys and went, my house, and he lost, and they took his house as well.
What did the other guy, did they go, my house? So he won 2 houses.
Basically, yeah. I mean, I'm tempted to do that and go, 20 grand plus my missus, and then fold. You suffer. But I didn't mean that, my love. Oh, I'm in so much trouble now.
Do you have any strength? You said your poker face is your weakness. Do you have any strength as a poker player? You're obviously good. You are winning, obviously, some of the time.
My strengths are really. I'm learning now to watch the other cards, to watch what's happening, to watch people. I never used to do that before. I was so focused on my cards here and how many chips I've got, and that they were positioned nice. I would never, as you do, I would know, oh, they're nice. So you've done well there. I would never look at everybody else's cards. And I'm really trying to learn that now, and that's hard. It's so hard. And watching people's faces. I mean, my father has got a twitch, and I know when he's got a good hand. I shouldn't really take the mickey out of him, but he goes like that. Well, hey, you've got something good. And watching other people. And there's a guy called Stan. He's 85 years old. A brilliant poker player. But you always know when he's playing well because he's got a monocle. And he puts his monocle in and goes, I shall have a look, dear chap. You go, oh, yeah, you've got something good there, ain't you, fold?
It's nice when the tells are that easy. Like with a monocle, what are the chances? Everyone should have a monocle.
When he takes his top hat off, I know he's got 4 aces.
If you could play anyone, living or dead, but they will be alive when you're playing them.
Right.
Because otherwise you could say, I'll play you dead, and that's not. So if they're living or dead, who would you like to play at poker?
I think it would, not necessarily who, but it's an environment I'd love to play in. It's the old, like, cowboy westerns. I just love that idea of pushing those saloon doors in, looking the part, sitting down, having no idea what I'm doing, picking up the table and going like that.
Yeah.
I just that
shot in the back.
Yeah. Basically, that whole kind of environment, I just think that's really good. And just I always dream of it is playing against, you know, those people that you're not great fans of them, but they play, and it's that a lot of money to be in the pot every there, and you pick up, and you've got 4 aces, and you put your hand down there, and everybody's betting big, and he's putting his monocle in and raising his top out, and he's going 20 in, and there's so much money in there, and I just want to do that, like doing the old movies, where they go, and one bloke leans over to get, and you go. I've dreamt about it many times. Read them and weep, and then go. Well, it's basically how I've dreamt it, and one day it will happen.
And then they'll go,
hold on, and your point is, okay, yeah, go on.
So what's coming up next for you professionally?
Professionally, I'm doing loads of warm-up at the moment. I'm doing Paul O'Grady's show at the moment, which is great fun, because he's a genius to work with. What else am I doing? I've written a book, which is hopefully, touch wood, someone's going to take it on. And I've got a BBC documentary being made about me, which is quite spooky. Be basically following me around. They want to see how the world of warm-up works. And they're going to be, I'm going to be waking up, rolling out of my bed, and there's going to be a TV crew there. And I don't know if it was such a good idea to sign the contract now, because I'm having second thoughts about being followed around 24/7 by a film crew, because they're going to see warts and all.
It'll be interesting. I think it'll be an interesting thing.
I think it'll be fun, and it'll either be the making of me, or I'll be working in McDonald's going, do you want chips with that? So, it'll be interesting.
Fantastic. Oh, well, it's great been talking to you. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Big round of applause for Andy Collins.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. My second guest tonight is one of the greatest British sportsmen ever to have lived. He's won the World Championship final of his sport an incredible 12 times. You'd think there'd be a statue to him in Trafalgar Square by now, but there isn't. Not as far as I'm aware. Anyway, there may be. I'm not going to say anything rude about him, because he always carries darts with him, and he can throw them with deadly accuracy. And on top of that, his nickname is The Power. Will you please welcome the world champion at throwing darts, Phil The Power Taylor. Great. Lovely to meet you. So how are you doing? Good, yeah. It's exciting. This is exciting as the World Championship.
Not far off.
Crowd.
Not far off. They don't normally cheer me at the World Championship.
They must do.
No, they always call me a few names.
Do they? So tell us how you got started in darts in the first place.
I got started playing for fun, really. Playing one day a week with my dad in a local little CIU league in a club right next to Port Vale football ground.
Okay.
And I enjoyed it. It was on a Tuesday, and then just progressed from there. I was natural.
And what?
The only thing I was natural, that and eating.
You've pretty much been in the final every year you've ever played, and won it 95% of the time, haven't you? So it's an incredible journey. What was your big break that got you into professional
My big break came when Eric moved up to Stoke. Eric Bristow.
Eric Bristow, yeah.
Yeah, never really liked him then. I must be honest. He was like a typical big head Cockney kind of fella, if you know what I mean. Sorry if any Cockneys in the audience, but he was.
This is London here. Don't you start.
And then he sponsored me for about 10 grand, and I thought, well, he's not a bad lad after all, you know what I mean? So I started to like him a little bit then. No, that's how I met him, and that's how my career started.
So when you say he sponsored you, he sort of gave you some money to...
Well, he didn't give me any money. He paid for me tournaments. He paid for me to fly to different places in the world, to enter tournaments. He paid for the hotel. And on condition that if I won, then I paid him back, which was good, really, because it pushed me on to win.
Very decent, especially given that you went on to repay him by beating him at the World Championship.
Yeah, but I still owed him some money, so I had to win to pay him.
But he's quite happy. He's like, result.
Yeah.
How did he take it when you beat him that first time?
He didn't like it. He didn't speak to me for about 6 months, which I wasn't too bothered about at the time. But yeah, he took it badly. After about 5 or 6 months, we were all right then again. We're like brothers, me and Eddie.
Yeah.
That's what we like. You know, we argue but we love each other.
What would you say makes a great darts player? What is it? Is it patience?
It's not the drinking, that's for sure. It's like anything in life. It's dedication. That's what it is, and the will to win. I think that's what I got off my parents, really, off my mother more than my dad, I think. I'm a very, very bad loser. I'm not a bad loser when I'll throw a tantrum, but I don't like losing. So, like the last tournament I lost, even though I've been a pro now for nearly 16 years, I will practice probably 4 or 5 hours a day, and I've stepped that up now because I hate losing. So I want to put it right. And that's what I'm like. I love winning. I love the challenge of, you know, younger players coming through. I've seen off all the older players like your jockeys and your lowies and whatever. Now there's an influx of a new breed coming through, who are more cocky and a bit more dedicated than they were.
So when the first time you won the world title, what was the kind of feeling? Can you describe how that felt to?
I remember Eric phoning me saying, because I was the last one to qualify for it. There was 32 players then in the World Championship, so I was the last one to get in. And he phoned me, said, Phil, you're in, you've got in. And that was my first chance. I was 150 to 1 at the bookies.
Did you put a bet on yourself?
No, my wife did.
Did she?
Yeah, my mortgage then was £20 a month, so she put £20 on me. 125 to 1 I was, beg your pardon. And then a lot of people in my local town bet on me.
Oh, I bet you were popular then.
I was, yeah. The nicest one was an old woman, an old lady I mean, she was a pensioner, and she put something like her last £3 on me. And she wasn't a bettor, you know what I mean? She wasn't a gambler. And she won something like £400 or £500 or something. And you'd think she'd won the lottery. And that was the nice feeling. Then come the looks off the neighbours, you know what I mean? Because you just won, I think then 24 grand.
Yeah.
Which was massive. I mean, you might as well have said 24 million to me. I mean, I've never seen that type of money.
Yeah.
But people think you've got it on the floor. They don't think you get a check. They say, can I come in and look at that money?
If I had that, I would.
You would.
I'd cash it up into pound coins and put it up. And I'd go, yeah, come on in, have a look, there it is.
Yeah, I know.
Don't touch it. Well, you can't spend it. Because the joke about the darts players, obviously there was that Not Done I Got New sketch where the drinking's the most important thing. Do you drink when you're playing, or do you stay sober when you're playing?
I'll have, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I might have a gin and tonic or something, or a glass of wine, but not really, because it's too, I can say, if you're going to go and walk up there like the older players, most of them were drunk when they got there or whatever, but now, if you went up there now with these youngsters coming through, then you'll lose. Simple as that. You cannot live that lifestyle and keep going. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
you can't keep doing the exhibitions till 1 o'clock in the morning and keep going. If you want to compete and you want to prolong your career, then you've got to be dedicated.
Do you think that's the same as with poker? Would you drink when you play poker, or do you?
Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes it can. I
was more nervous picking my chips up in poker when I won a pot. I was like trying to count them. I was dead nervous. It's weird.
That is weird. So how did you first get into playing poker?
Through my manager, Barry Hare. He's got some tournaments that he does, and he invited me along, and I got sponsored off one of my sponsors for playing it. And the first time I did okay, and the second time I lost in the final.
Wow.
I've only played in, I think, 2 or 3.
So is it a similar mental exercise to playing darts? Do you think that's why you've kind of picked it up so quickly?
You need bottle, and I think with poker you need a lot of patience as well. That's the secret. Mad Marty, who's coming on next, he taught me how to play, and then one thing you must have is patience. Because you can get, I mean, if you get like 2 cards, you get 2 cards dealt you, and you can sit there for an hour and not have anything. And that drives you crackers. You know what I mean? You're like, please give me something so I can have a go. Just have a go. Just put a chip in. But you need patience. And that's the secret.
Well, I'm just going to charge up my mobile phone by plugging it into one of Phil the Power Taylor's available orifices. So we'll be back with more after these short messages.
Heads Up with Richard Herring, brought to you in association with SpinPalacePoker.com. On Poker Zone this December, a feast of original and entertaining morsels to whet the appetite. Heads Up with Richard Herring continues to amuse and enthrall with its mix of poker-playing celebrities and poker pros.
Do you think poker could be improved if you had a bloke standing at the table going, Royal Flush?
Catch all the action from Monte Carlo with a TV first, as Poker Zone brings you coverage from the 30th World Backgammon Championships.
He said another check if he wants it.
And he does want it.
He should want it, yeah.
I think he wants it here.
Oh, yeah.
This fantastic series is hosted by Cara Scott and features expert commentary from backgammon pros Paul McGreal and John Clark.
One thing's for sure, Sven is not happy that he's been doubled here.
No, this is a good double.
And completing the Christmas feast, a very large helping of Poker Night Live.
Are you just going to sit and drink tea all night?
I feel redundant. I like it already.
Join the experts every night from 10 p.m. for tips, advice and answers to all your poker woes.
So your advice to our viewers is get on a run with a pair of 8s
and then just keep pushing that.
Push your luck until you crash and burn, at which point take a break, maybe a couple of weeks.
For information about playing poker on TV and a full list of programs, visit pokerzone.tv. It's everything you could possibly want for Christmas this December on PokerZone.
Credit card reaching its limit? Desperate for some extra cash? Then answer the questions and win £2,000. Another word for money machine is A. ATM. B. Black box. Want to subscribe for a chance to win? Then text your answer cash A for ATM or cash B for black box to 60555 and you can be £2,000 richer. So text cash A or cash B to 60555.
50p per message.
Join in with our fantastic interactive games package available anytime when you press the red button on your remote control. It's a veritable box of delights. Play as you view with Spin to Win or Roulette. A lucky win could be a spin away. Unravel our Lucky Sevens game. It could be a perfectly lucky game for you. You could squeeze a win out of Fruits of Fortune. This delectable game could keep you satisfied for hours. For novel numbers games, rip open a gripping game of Super Bingo Keno. Perhaps Cash Keno will bring you a nice surprise. Or you could have our backroom poker game wrapped up when you press the red button. Watch the post with Trackside, our incredible virtual horse racing game where you can be a winner every few minutes. Press red to get involved right now. Whatever your game, we have a gift for serious entertainment.
Heads Up with Richard Herring, brought to you in association with SpinPalacePoker.com.
Welcome back to the show where my second guest, Phil the Power Taylor, is talking to me, Richard the Glory Herring. So who drinks the fattest darts player at the moment?
Andy Ford.
Andy Ford.
I'm second.
Oh, I don't think you're second. You're quite live for a darts player, I think.
Oh, all right.
Andy Ford, he looks a bit like Billy the Fish's head stuck on... You know Billy the Fish from Viz? He looks a bit like Billy the Fish's head stuck on a robot gigantic. Just my thought. So yeah, you haven't just won money at darts though. You won quite a big prize, one of the poker tournaments, didn't you?
The actual biggest win I've ever done in my career was in poker.
Was it?
Yeah.
So how much did you win? How much did you win?
Well, altogether, when we ended up with 179,000.
Wow. And what did you do with the money?
I bought my daughter a house.
That's pretty good. It's all tax-free as well, is it, poker?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. Are you in trouble? That's the bloody house.
Do you prefer playing live poker or online?
I like both, really, but if I had to pick one, I would say live. Because you've got a bit more time to think.
Yeah, that's
true. And look at people's faces. You can't tell on the internet what they've got.
No.
But sometimes, as you say, you can tell if somebody's got a good hand or a bad hand. I find it weird when they stare at you.
Yeah,
the first time I ever played, especially coming from Stoke, when they're giving it this. You know what I mean? What you do, you know what I mean? This American fella's glaring at me. What the f*** you keep staring?
That's got to be.
I never realised this was part of the game, you know what I mean?
That's got to be an advantage, because that's not... That's not the reaction they're expecting. Is going, what are you doing? Get out of it! You played recently on Poker Night Live, so let's see how you got on. Here we are. We'll just watch it.
I'm there at the bottom.
First of all, I don't know about playing King Jack suited in early position. And he's fortunate that he's actually got position. Now, this is not a bad play. Because now Rister does have to be a little bit scared, because you think, well, he limped in under the gun. He'd now re-raise me. Oh, he's let him in there, Rister. I think he really needs to put a bet out there to see if he did have aces or not. He needed to make it at least a pot-sized bet. Of course, if he did have aces, then it was bad luck, but Well, he's hit his card now. And Rister's a non-believer, but this is one of the occasions that Phil actually has hit his hand. And this time he will get paid off.
Oh, he came in as well. So how did it go for you on Poker Night Live?
Yeah, it did good fun. It's just, it was a bit late for me, so I had to start rushing a little bit and start putting big bets on.
Yeah.
It was actually your mate what knocked me out.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
So how did you? Was that a tournament or a cash game?
It was a cash game.
Right, and you got knocked out.
Wiped out.
Right, so it seemed to be going well there. That was.
I was all right. Yeah, I was up, and then I got wiped out.
If you could play against anyone, living or dead, but they're alive, who would you play?
Preferably alive.
Yeah, they have to be alive. No.
Well, I like playing. I really like playing the pros. So if I had a table, I'd like to put Barry in because he's a lucky son. Mad Marty will be on too.
Yeah.
Because I love him to death anyway. Devilfish, who's got a head as big as this table, so I want to play against him because I enjoy playing people like them, and I want to beat them all. That's what I'd love. I'd love that. Koresh is another one. He winds people up. Well, Marty against Koresh would be great just to watch anyway, because Marty would wipe the floor with him.
Yeah. Do you think poker could be improved if you had a bloke standing at the table going Royal Flush? I think that would make it better.
Definitely.
Mad Mike could do it. It's a pair of nines with an ace kicker. So you're doing a tournament.
Everybody folds.
Nothing for a pair, not in this game, aren't there? So, what's coming up next? You've got a tournament coming up. What is it?
Next week I'm in Blackpool.
Yeah.
The week after I'm in Holland. The week after is a tournament on Skye in Ireland. And the week after I've not got a clue yet.
Do you find you see the places you go to, or do you just see the inside of a big room?
Taxi, hotel, taxi, back home again. Yeah. Plane, that's it.
It's the same as being a comedian. You can travel the world and see just you never see anything in daylight.
We do spend like a week in Blackpool, so I've seen Blackpool a few times.
Well, that's pretty good. For someone from Stoke, that's probably the
ultimate.
You can go back and the streets are paved with paving stones. So it's incredible. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Brilliant guest. Thank you very much. Phil, the power, Taylor. My final guest tonight is mad. He's not mad like the bloke at your office who does an impression of Ali G at Christmas. No, he's properly, terrifyingly insane and unpredictable. He got the nickname Mad by jumping into a polar bear pit when he was 18. That is mental illness. Not even amusing. He's one of the poker scene's most fascinating, hilarious characters, not only a champion in his own right, but a guru and teacher to many of the new breed of celebrity players. It's an absolute pleasure to introduce Mad Marty Wilson. Hi Richard, great to see you, Marty. How are you doing? Good to see you again. Brilliant. So come, we've got to find out what's this polar bear story all about, how you got your nickname.
Well, when I was 17, I used to go and watch Wolverhampton Wanderers, you know what I mean? Scarf on this arm, big hat on, you know what I mean? Round my neck I used to have a scarf as well. And I was fanatical for the Wolves in 1973-74. Anyway, the one Saturday comes up and we've got West Brom in our local derby. So we're uptown at 12 o'clock and we've come out the pubs at 2:30. Oh, and across the road is about 500 West Brom fans. So we have a little bit of a fracas in the street, and I get put in the police van, and my friend gets put in the police van, and so about 6 or 7 of these West Brom fans get put in this police van. Anyway, I'm on curfew. 7 o'clock at night I have to be in the house, and 7 o'clock in the morning I can't go out. So my mum and dad are really strict with me, you know what I mean? You're not going nowhere without us. So it ends up about a week later we go to Dudley Zoo. And I'm with my 14-year-old brother and my mum and dad. And as I'm walking through Dudley Zoo, I glance, and there's these West Brom fans that I'm on a curfew from. And I go, oh. So I try to scuttle away from them, and they've noticed me. And one gives me a kick, and one gives me a point. So I'm panicking, and I scatter to this wall, right? And I jump over the wall, and I know I'm in trouble when I've jumped over the wall. I haven't realised that it's the polar bear pit. And I've jumped down, and the polar bear's there, and I've squashed through the water. And I know these guys are not coming after me. so I've squished through the water, and I've headed right to the top and got over the final, you know, this wall. And as I've jumped down the wall, I'm in the llama cage. I've never been so pleased to see llamas in my life. And they just scatter all over the place, and I end up, I climb over a fence and I get out. Anyway, it obviously gets reported to the local newspaper, which was the Express and Star, that some nutcases jumped into the polar bear pit and run through it. Anyway, I gets interviewed, and it said in the headlines was, Mad Marty Wilson defies Albion fans by jumping into polar bear pit. And actually, when I went to court, they brought this case up, and the judge dropped all the case against me, like, and I ended up walking free, like.
He's a Wolves fan, was he?
Oh yeah. Some of these other kids got eight weeks in a detention centre. You know, that was me.
How did you get into poker?
Oh, poker was a different story altogether. I used to go into a casino. It was. I shouldn't really mention this because I could get shot. In the old days, before all the cameras came out, you know what I mean? It was just somebody watching. There was 3 of us, we were only 18 years of age, and we were always on scams. And I remember, well, it doesn't matter, it was like 30 years ago, we used to go in casinos, and one used to lean across, and one used to look at the wheel, and then one would put a late bet on. And obviously we used to get ourselves 25 quid a night. But we found it difficult to cash the money out. Because obviously, you keep winning in a casino, they're going to pick it up. So, say we had £75 in chips. I'd go and sit at the poker table, try and change the chips for cash. Can you change that, mate? Can you change that, mate? And then we used to get the cash back, and then nobody was any the wiser that we'd obviously won the money at roulette. And obviously, as I sat down and watched, you know, hands developed in my head, and little bits of knowledge people said to me, and things progress and progress and progress. And then all of a sudden you think, well, I should have a go myself. I got 75 quid for nothing. And I went down to London, and I was talking to this guy on the train. It was unbelievable. And he says the British Championships are on, European Championships, that's what it was. He said, at the Vic. I said, you couldn't sign me in, could you? Yeah, he says, anyway, I ended up winning it. And it was 18 grand. And like, I mean, 18 grand, I mean, what's 18 grand? He says, it's a fortune. You know, when you've got a Ford Anglia car, you know what I mean? When you're renting a flat with 4 other guys and there's 2 beds, and like, I'm sleeping this way, like, he's sleeping that way. With pillow that end, pillow that end. I mean, it was a fortune, and then I went to Vegas and I won the Carnival of Poker, and then I ended up going to Slovenia. What a place that is, you know what I mean? I think they had some cheap red hair dye there, because everybody had red hair. I used to look out the window and think, God, there's a load of matches on the floor. It was like, but it was, and I've had such a great life, you know what I mean? I've slept on, you know, in hotel doorways, I've slept under bridges, you know, but I've always managed to get myself in the game. You know, I've always had enough dough, you know, for the next card game or whatever, you know, you just always keep yourself in the game.
Right,
is there anything you want me to ask you?
No, not yet. We're going to go to a break. We need to take a break there because I need to put Marty in a Hannibal Lecter mask and straitjacket for the safety of any polar bears that have strayed into the studio. But we'll be back with more Insania after these attempts to bluff money out of you. See ya.
Heads Up with Richard Herring, brought to you in association with SpinPalacePoker.com.
Poker Night Live gives you a window into the exciting world of internet poker. Every night, our roving cameras visit the web's leading poker room to bring you actual games being played with no fake hands and no bots. Poker Night Live tonight from 10 PM on Poker Zone.
your credit card reaching its limit? Desperate for some extra cash? Then answer the questions and win £2,000. Another word for money machine is A. ATM. B. Black box. Want to subscribe for a chance to win? Then text your answer cash A for ATM or cash B for black box to 60555 and you can be £2,000 richer. So text cash A or cash B to 60555.
50p per message.
I'm out! I'm out! I need ammo! You owe me one!
They were America's most legendary infantry unit, and though every man was different, they fought as one. Big Red 1. Call of Duty 2, Big Red 1.
Heads Up with Richard Herring, brought to you in association with SpinPalacePoker.com.
Welcome back to the final part of Heads Up with Richard Herring, where I'm still talking to Mad Marty Wilson. I've got a little present for you, Marty. Here it is. It's you don't have to be mad to be Marty Wilson, but it helps. There you go, so you can take that away.
Thanks, yeah.
I
don't want to stretch you.
You're the only man I know who's made a fortune from his acorn. Would you like to tell us that story, outside of puppetry the penis? So
that was the greatest story of all time. I've even got the year. It was 1998. And I was always a fanatical gambler, you know what I mean? I can't wake up any day and not have a bet. And it's a Tuesday, and we always used to go from Blackpool Casino, right, to Manchester Airport at 5 o'clock in the morning when the casinos have all shut, play all night at the airport, and then get on the first plane at 10 o'clock the next morning to go to Vegas. Anyway, I've got about £9,000 sterling in my pocket, which is a fortune, and I love a drink, you know what I mean? I'm one of the old boys, you know what I mean? 10 pints of beer on a Friday night, that's what it's all about. So anyway, I've gone up to Blackpool, met some old pals that I really admire and care for and love, and we've had a few drinks. Anyway, I said, just before we go out, I'll get the X's on the blackjack to pay the taxi to Manchester Airport. I ended up coming out the casino in Blackpool, right? I didn't have a shilling. I didn't have 1 shilling in my pocket. I get to the airport and I've obviously got my ticket and a few friends. Yeah, I might have another beer. How am I going to get out of this? I get on the plane and I sit by this guy called Steve Nash. I'll never forget it as long as I live. It was like, when he got on the plane, he was like halo with light round him. I looked at this guy. I said, I haven't seen you in Vegas before. He says, oh, Mad Marty, it's my first time. Well, I said, listen, if it's your first time, it's only right that me and you should share a room. I said, oh, that's a good idea. I wish I'd have thought of that. I said, and then I can take you to the places where you'll win a few quid and you'll avoid the places that are not so good. He said, thanks for doing that, Marty. So we get to the Plaza Casino, and I says, we'll split the rooms. He says, no, I'll pay it on my card, and when the bill comes, I'll sort it out with you. Wow. So now I've got the accommodation sorted. And I get down the next morning and I'm wandering around the casino and he's still in bed. And I bump into this guy called George McKeever. And George says, Marty, he said, what's happening? I said, oh, George, I'm a little bit short. I said, I can't get in the room. That Steve Nash has got one of them lap dancers in there. I don't want to disturb him. He said, oh, yeah, he's a couple of $100, keep you going. So I'm walking through Martin Luther's Boulevard Park thinking, how am I going to get this 200 up to the money to get me in the Hall of Fame? And on the floor's a little acorn. And I kicked the acorn. I thought, oh, isn't nature beautiful? There's an acorn here in a little cup and a little stem. And not thinking, I put it in my pocket. Anyway, I go in the casino, I sit down with my case $200 and with 2 cards are dealt to me and I've got to win. And what happens is, I put my hand in my pocket for my cigarettes, because you could smoke it, and I find the acorn. And I just chuck it on the back of the cards and have a gander. Ace Jack will go on now. And this American guy says, what's the acorn for? Now I've only got seconds to think of a story. You know? And I'm looking at the acorn and I'm looking at the American guy and I'm thinking, well, this acorn was from Sherwood Forest, where Robin Hood was born. He's gone, no way. I said, yeah, sure. I said, I think it actually came from the tree that the merry men hid in. He went, can I have a look at it? Well, it was only from across the road, you know what I mean? I said, yeah. So he's gone, wow. So the guy next to him says, what's the acorn for? He said, this is from Sherwood Forest, where Robin Hood was born, and it's actually come from the tree that the merry men's hid in. So he asks me if it's for sale. I says, yeah, why sure it's for sale, yeah. I says, I've actually bought a bag full with me. So I scutter over to Martin Luther's Boulevard Park. I'm on my hands and knees. I've got a bag full like this. I get back to the table, I sit at the table, and the guy said, how much are they? I said, well, they've got to be worth $5 each. He says, I'll have 4. I get 4 out. We have these little chip bags, so I ended up putting an acorn inside. 4 gives me $20. So this other guy says, can I have 4 as well? I said, okay, yeah, here's 4. Next thing I knew, there was a queue. And when I'm in the queue, you know, Americans, they have to queue. You know, they're not happy. You know, I'm not eating none. I never queued for this. They're not happy. You know, they just can't go in a bar and like order a beer and I'll have to wait for somebody else to be served first. So next thing I know, there's this queue, and I hear somebody say, what are we queuing for? I said, guy, yeah. Acorns from Sherwood Forest where Robin Hood was born, yeah. And he goes, oh, I sell 320 acorns. Right, in the card room, I get $1,600, right? And from the $1,600, right, I turned it into $25,400. I come back from Vegas and I finished 5th, I finished, in the Hall of Fame, right? Anyway, to cut a long story short, Let's not do that. Let's not start now. To cut a long story short, right? Last year, I didn't go this year to Vegas. Last year I'm in Vegas, and I'm in the Vegas Club. And I see this cocktail waitress, and she's pregnant. Well, I haven't been to Vegas for like a year, you know. And I hear, Marty. Marty. And I'm thinking, she says, Marty, you remember me? And I'm, no, I don't remember you. She says, why, sure you remember me. In 1998, she sold me 4 acorns for $20. I went, yeah, look, I'm just about to say, like, do you want the $20 back? And she says, and I've cultivated those acorns, and one's this big, and one's this big, and my friend across the road, he's got 4 as well, and one's this, and there's a guy in Henderson, and apparently 68 people went home and put him in the greenhouse and loved and cared for him. And they've got this club now called the Sherwood Club, right? And every year they elect a Maid Marian, right? And the Sheriff of Nottingham. And next year I'm invited to the, I think is it next year or the year? It's the 10th year or whatever of this, and I'm the guest speaker. And they've got little plaques on them, you know what I mean? This was from Sherwood Forest, where I mean, who's got, I hope this never goes out to America. I hope this never goes out. Look, listen to me, Americans, right, you know what I mean? If I had some dog muck on a stick and said it was lasses, would you buy it off me?
But it's a beautiful thing has come out of your evil life.
See, people only believe what they want to believe. Yeah. That's, you know, if you believe your races are going to stand up, you're going to stick all your dough in, you? Yeah. And that's what gambling's all about, you know. And I did nobody any wrong. You know, if anybody ever comes to me for the $5, they can have it with a bit of interest, you know. and that's it.
So you've been training a lot of celebrity players. You coached Helen Chamberlain a bit, and she's just won, well, second in this.
Yeah, she's a natural, you know what I mean. She already had the ability there, to be fair. You know what I mean? I was just the tuning fork, you know what I mean. I just livened her up a bit, you know, like I was the blind piano teacher who just got a few things in for her. But to be fair, you know, she's one of those that it's like Phil Taylor as well. I mean, you only have to tell Phil something once and he's got it forever. Yeah. You know, and that is the beauty of showbiz people. You don't just wake up and be like yourself. It's already there, the naturalness. And, you know, people say you're lucky. You're not lucky. You're not lucky, you know what I mean? You deserve everything you get in life. Because if you work hard, right, you play hard. And I think that's what you find with all the celebs. People like Matthew Stevens, people like Ed Giddings, you know what I mean? Phil, I've got to go on about Barry Hearn, you know what I mean? All these people have natural abilities. And poker's exactly the same. I mean, once you've been told something, I mean, it's like if once you put your hand in the fire, you never do it again. And that's what happens with poker.
So what's your biggest tip for these players, or do you?
I think to listen and anything any poker player ever says to you, let the knowledge, you know, settle in, and any advice anybody ever gives you, take note of it. Don't sort of say, well, what's he ever won, you know what I mean? Because, you know what I mean, the information you get from other people is always valuable. You know what I mean? It's all about information.
And what are your own personal strengths and weaknesses as a poker player, would you say?
I do a lot of analysing. If I'm playing it, like if I play a player like Korash, you know, I'll watch and see what he's done and how he's reacted on the flop and how he's reacted on the turn. You know, I'll get his hand movements and his eye movements. You know, you can actually, with the TV now, you can analyse players. You know, like the Devilfish. You know, if the Devilfish has hit the flop, his hands are all everywhere. You know, but I shouldn't be telling you. And Korash is like a bird in a cage. Yap, yap, yap. But if he's missed, he's the silent man. He's hoping to God nobody calls him, you know. And you pick up little, you pick up little telltale signs, and that's probably my strength. People's weaknesses.
Yeah. Do you have any superstitions, Marty?
Oh God, I'm absolutely nuts on superstition. If I've won some, I played in that Hall of Fame that I was telling you about a few years ago, and I like to have my hair cut before a tournament. That seems strange, you know what I mean? Just because you don't have yours cut. You know?
Very rarely.
So I go and have my hair cut, you know what I mean? And there's like 350 odd runners, and we play down to the last 9. And I get to the last 9. So now I've got to have exactly the same clothes on I've had the day before, right? Everything I've done the day before, I have to do. So then I get up, like, and I go and have my hair cut, right? With the same barber, in the same chair, at the same time. So he looks at me and he never says a word. He never says a word. And he trims my hair, and they put these hot things on it. And I have to have exactly the same thing done. And, excuse me, sir, he says, didn't you have your hair cut yesterday?
So, Marty, what's coming up next for you?
Well, I forgot all about this. I'm doing a satellite tomorrow in Cannock. Then I'm going to South Africa, I think.
Just everything. The world of poker, is it?
Yeah, well, it's my
At
world.
your feet. You own everything. Yeah. Fantastic. No longer having to scam Americans with acorns. Thanks very much to Mad Marty Wilson. He's mad. He's mentally ill. That's all for this week. Let me leave you with the best poker joke of all time, as told by the incomparable Stephen Wright. That's the American one, not the specky DJ bloke. He said, I played poker with tarot cards last night. I got a full house and 4 people died. Good night.